Hello guys, welcome again to Marco Mondi TV. Hope you guys are going to like this Marvin I have over here. Actually, before I even begin my episode for today, I'll tell you something about this Marvin. I came with it in the US. I bought it back home before I left. Because I had an idea of how cold it is here in the US. So I was just doing some preparations on what to carry, what to buy. And I remember when I went to buy it somewhere in Pipeline, there is a market somewhere in Pipeline, for those of you who are familiar with the Embakasi side of Nairobi. And then I had to look through the options that were there, and then I remember asking the person who was selling it whether there is a heavier one than this, and she simply laughed and told me this is the heaviest. So yesterday I wore it when I was going to the library at my university here where I'm studying, and when I stepped out to make a call, there was some white lady who walked over to me and then told me, "I like it." So of course I knew, I don't know, I think it looks funny, I don't know, but it was an awkward experience. I think she just could not hide her excitement about this particular Marvin and probably the way I look in it. Anyway, that aside, I hope you guys are also not going to make a comment on this. Anyway, today is exactly 25th. Today is 25th of January 2023. The reason why I'm even doing this video is because it's exactly 1 month since I came in the US, and I just thought to take some time and share with you guys my experiences from the village, some tiny village in Kenya, all the way to the land of the free. I used to hear about the land of the free, and I thank God I'm here. It doesn't mean that people who come to the land of the free are already successful. I think that's a misconception that has been going around for some time. And I think when I walk around here, I meet a couple of homeless people, and then it dawns on me that it's not automatic that when you come here you become successful. I think the system here is very tough. You really have to be goal oriented and focus on what you want for you to ever succeed. The opportunities seem to be there, at least for the 1 month I've been here, but if you look at how hard people are working, it really prepares you that unless you really know what you want and you are really focused, it might be a tall order for you to survive in this system. You might just end up being one of the statistics about the homeless people. So, like I was saying, this is a young man from, I don't know whether I'm still a young man. Over 30, you are no longer a young man. But for the sake of my body, I think I should say I'm a young man. I should just say I'm a young man. I wish you guys could see my whole body. I'm usually very tiny. And even right now in my master's class, guys tend to think that I'm amongst the youngest. Little do they know that I'm amongst the oldest. I think in a class of of around 48 students. From my estimation, I'm top 3 or maybe top 5 oldest students, but most people don't know in my class. And that's a hint I'm telling you guys. I hope you won't be able to share with them, and I hope none of them watches this video. But anyway, let's assume I'm still a young man. I have to thank God for this opportunity. And without going into so many stories, this is just a casual chat. I had not prepared for it, by the way. But I just thought, why can't we celebrate this 1 month of being in a foreign land together with you guys? Because I think when I started following up on, this YouTube channel was just created less than 2 months ago, when I was still in Kenya and just working on my visa issues, my school application processes. And that's when I started updating you guys on a few things here and there on the channel. So I thought whatever step I make in this journey, it's good to share with you guys. Right into it. Today I want to share with you some of my observations so far in this country, having come from Kenya. And you guys should never forget that I'm one of the proudest Kenyans you will ever meet, you've ever met, and you are going to meet today. That's one thing you need to know. I'm a very proud Kenyan wherever I go, and it's not just about these things. It's in my mind, it's in my heart, and it's in my body. And it's in what I say. It's in my posts. If you follow me on Facebook, if you follow me on Twitter, if you follow me on LinkedIn, you will see all these things about me being crazy about Kenya. And most people ask me why, what's this that you are so proud about in Kenya? And one day I'll tell you guys why. I'm usually very proud to be a Kenyan. So one of these things that I've observed here is that, and I think this is public knowledge to maybe all of you already, especially for those of you who can research on the internet, because a lot of this information is out there. This country, they drive on the right, they keep right. From Kenya, we keep left. So when I arrived here, I discovered people. Of course, I had already had an idea, but now experiencing it live when somebody's driving you and then you see them keeping on the right, it looks a bit awkward. Sometimes you even feel like they are going to cause an accident with you on board, but then now with time you adjust. So that's one thing that I discovered here that is different from my home country, Kenya. The second thing is that in this country, while I personally believe that women are the most important creatures in this world, here in this country, they make it very clear that you mess up with a woman, you mess up with a child, and you mess up with a dog, then you are finished. So those 3 things I've mentioned to you, sorry I'm calling them things, those 3 creatures I've mentioned to you, immediately you enter the boundaries of this country, don't dare mess with them. You'll find yourself behind bars very easily. So you see someone walking around with their pets, or you see a lady and then you you mishandle them, even in the way you talk to them, you're likely to find yourself behind bars. Well, I wouldn't say personally I found myself in that situation, but you see, there is a way you just see people doing things, people behaving, then you can, as a learned person, you can make certain conclusions about what people believe in and the cultures here. So that is one thing I've observed. It doesn't mean that where I come from, we disrespect women, or we mess around with animals, or we molest children. No, we still value them very well, by the way. And where I come from in Kenya, we really value women. We really value, we don't mistreat pets, and we don't molest children. We give them the best care we can. But here in the US, I think it's to the extreme, to the extent that people might end up misusing that kind of belief against men. So I have to warn you guys in advance, especially for those of you who do one day want to come to the US. The third observation I've made is that here, giving tips, how do we call them back in Kenya? Giving tips, maybe appreciation, once you get service from somewhere or you buy something, is like a culture. So if you go to a restaurant, you get served, when you're done with your meals, it's the expectation of whoever was serving you, the waitress or whoever they are, that you are going to tip them. So at the back of their mind, they know it's part of what they expect. So if you don't do it, obviously they won't arrest you, but it makes you look extremely awkward. No one forces you to do it, but clearly, if you don't do it, it makes you look like you are just out of the blues. I don't know how best to call it. So giving tips is, and I remember, that reminds me when I was, I think I was just making my first online purchase here in the US. I did that about 2 weeks ago, 1.5 weeks ago, I guess. I was just ordering some groceries, and I remember when the receipt was compiling, there was an automatic tip of $5 added on top of the totals, and that one you can't edit. Of course you can edit, but upwards. That means you can change that $5 tip to $10 to $20. You can now customize it, but you can't go below $5 and say I'm not giving a tip. You won't be served anyways, so your order won't be fulfilled. That's how serious it is. It's the same case with Uber. When you're taking an Uber, or here they use Uber or Lyft, automatically the tip gets included into your receipt. So that is the third item that I think I've observed that is different from where I come from. From my country, people still give tips, but it's out of the service that you get. Like personally, I would tell you, I don't, even when I was in Kenya, I never used to give tips all the time. I could give tips once in a while, and that was very clear. It was based on how satisfied am I with your services. If I'm satisfied with your services and I'm very happy that you served me well, you will easily get some good tip from me, even without you asking for it. But in the unlikely event that you give me poor service, it's so natural that you won't expect a tip from me. And I think here it's very different. Whether you are served well or not, a tip becomes a part of your order total. Anyway, that is the third observation. The fourth observation, I'm just trying to refer to what I had prepared. Now, another thing is pedestrian lights, and this is interesting. I remember when I went out for the first time on my own. And I wanted to cross the road. So I saw those lights and I thought these ones are meant for vehicles, not for me. So what I simply did, because all vehicles were waiting, like here I think traffic rules are strictly obeyed. So there was no vehicle crossing over. What I decided to do is just to cross over running. Before the vehicles could start moving. Little did I know that you're supposed to press a button, and then that button indicates for you certain lights for pedestrians. So once those lights change color into white, then it shows that it gives you the permission to cross the streets. So I didn't know about that. I had to learn the hard way. I think after I had crossed, then I discovered people were looking at me, and then I suspected there was something that I didn't do right. So later on, then I got to learn how it works, and here I am. So that was one of the, I think we are at number 4 right now. That was one of the culture shocks that I found here also. That is number 4 or 5. I don't know. Let's just proceed. I'm assuming it's number 5. So let's go to number 6. Number 6, and this again reminds me when I was still in primary or high school, way back in Kenya. We used to write letters to our girlfriends in girls' schools. I was in a boys' school. So that was the only time I remember we used to write letters, then we send them over, we post them for them to get over to our girlfriends then, or any other person for that matter, if you wanted to communicate with anyone, because mobile phones were not there by that time. Emails were never there. So the only mode of communication was letters, which here in the US they call, I think, mails or something. So I discovered here in the US, people still heavily use mails. And every house address has a mailbox. So if you have your home, it has a mailbox and a mailbox number. So that's where you receive your letters, you receive your bills. If anyone sends you anything, it's delivered to that particular mailbox. I really find that old school, by the way. As much as sometimes I find it convenient, but the bigger picture is that, to me, it looks old school. I can't, and especially for a developed country like this one, you expect a lot of this stuff should just be done online and through mobile devices and stuff like that. But they still do letters. So like if there is anything you expect from maybe the only benefit at this point in time is when you are receiving a parcel, like from Amazon and stuff like that. The address you provided helps them to bring it over to you. But on the part of actually doing letters, I find it very old school. But yes, it's still here. The seventh item, is that Here, houses are actually made of wood. That's not guesswork. Houses are actually made of wood. In fact, right now as we speak, I'm just from downstairs, and I I saw some gentlemen constructing a new house in between some two already existing houses. I took a photo. I don't know whether I'll share. Not sure whether I'll share or not. But like, if you look at it from where I sit, from my background and from where I come from, up to where they have reached, if someone looks at it, they might think they are maybe constructing a cow shed or something like that. It doesn't look like eventually it should be a house where people live in. But unfortunately, that's how it is. People here construct houses using wood. From where I come, houses are built using stone, concrete, and bricks at some point. So that is one weird thing that I also found here. And they say that it's because of the climate here, that temperatures sometimes are extremely cold. So when they do wooden structures, then in between they can fix in some stuff that I think helps to absorb the extreme cold, so that the houses are not extremely cold during winter times. Well, that is for the experts, not for me, but at least that's what I've heard out there. So just know that here houses are built using wood, and I even wonder how that wood lasts for that long, because the perception out there is that wooden stuff can't last as long as stone houses, but that is subject to debate. So for them to have been doing it for centuries, it means it's working for them. And my former principal in high school used to say that you don't change your winning formula. So maybe for them, it's been a formula that has been working for them, and they have not seen so far the need to change it. But that's it. Observation number 8 is that and it will surprise you. You know, back in Kenya, we rear dogs for sure, but there is a difference between a dog and a human being. That doesn't mean that you will mistreat the dog, but there has to be a difference. Now here in the US, over 85%, and even right now if we go downstairs, you will meet ladies, especially ladies. Of course, there are also men with dogs, but it's for everyone. But mostly ladies are the ones you will see moving around with dogs, holding them, taking them for a walk. To me, that's a culture shock, because dogs in my country can protect themselves, right? They can protect themselves. So you don't need to create a specific time to take dogs around for a walk, to bathe them, to dress them up. Sometimes you see dogs fully dressed in clothes just like humans, and you even wonder what's wrong with these guys. And remember 2 days ago, when I was having one of towards the end of just about 10 minutes towards the end of our lecture, a professor who is a lady, after the group, there was a group activity that she had assigned us, So just 10 minutes to the end of that group activity, she came in front and then she told everyone to listen. Then we were wondering what's happening. And she told us, guys, I have an appointment with the doctor for my dog this evening, and unfortunately I have to leave you guys at exactly 9:30. So right now it's 10 minutes to 9:30. So make sure if you have any questions, please raise them right now before 9:30, because I'll be leaving at exactly 9:30. My dog is waiting for me. I have to take it for treatment. And for me, it looked like the most serious joke I've ever heard of since I was born. But she was damn serious, and exactly 9:30 she left rushing. Yeah? So it tells you how serious they they value those dogs. And when I started with my first point, I told you how valuable women, children, and dogs are in this society. So you see a dog somewhere, of course you won't find them walking around by themselves. They always have the owners walking around with them. But in the unlikely event that a dog advances towards you in a manner as to hurt you, unfortunately, you are not allowed to hit it. Otherwise it will be a serious case, a legal case, by the way. So that is one thing that I discovered. People rush from work, going home very fast. Serious professionals, not just idlers. Serious professionals rushing from work to go and look after their dogs, to take them for a walk, to take them for treatment, like this professor I was telling you about, to feed them, to play with them. So to me that's a very different society altogether. The ninth observation, there are 10, is that I discovered that here, when you walk around, especially the Americans, I don't know whether it's in their culture or I don't know, but they tend to just smile at you. They actually smile at you to the extent that you might think they know you. Yeah, and it happened to me the first time, and it was some young beautiful lady, and I saw her smiling at me. I actually thought, wow, has this lady fallen for me or something? I thought finally somebody has fallen for me within a very short time here in the US. And I'll not cut out that portion because it actually happened. So when I smiled back, thinking that she would stop for a conversation so that I get to understand how did she get to know about me, because she seems like she knows me very well. Then the lady just walked off and went away like she never even smiled at me. Right? So with time now I discovered that every time you meet them, even in the lifts, in the elevators, even in the corridors, especially at school, sometimes you meet them in the corridors, even in this apartment where I live, they would simply smile at you very easily, as if they know you. Most of the time it's as if they know you, because it's not just a casual smile. Yeah, so that's something I've also learned. We also smile to people in my country, but there has to be an agenda, like either you know that person, or you have interest in them, or you wanted to convey a certain message to them. Otherwise you just walk away and go your way, then they go their way. right? But here, like, they just smile at you. Maybe their mind is not even there with you. They're just thinking about other things, but they just smile at you as if they know you. I really found that very interesting. Finally, uh, what? I don't know whether I should talk about the Teslas. You know, I'm a strong follower of Elon Musk, this billionaire guy. So even in Kenya, I've been following him a lot, even before I came to the US, and I really like his inventions. And one of the major ones is the electric cars and the electric car company called Tesla. It never occurred to me that one day I would just see a Tesla physically like this. I used to see them on maybe YouTube or just on the internet. But now when I came to the US, I think it's very easy to meet a Tesla. Very, very easy to meet a Tesla. You know, where I come there, because of Uber, and a lot of people are doing Uber, and for economic purposes, people are using those very small cars to move people around using Uber, like the Mazda Demio, the Toyota Vitz, the Suzuki Alto, the Mitsubishi Mirage, and those kind of vehicles. So those small cars are very many on the roads. So here I've discovered that it's so easy to meet a Tesla on the streets than it is to meet any of those small cars I've mentioned about. You easily meet them driving around, and I really find them cool, especially for a strong follower of Elon Musk like myself. It's a very interesting affair for me. So yeah, as I conclude, my Marvin is still here with me. I was just sweating, so that's why I decided to remove it again before I step out. Immediately I step out of the door, I know I'll be freezing, so I have to put on my gloves. I have to put on my beloved Marvin back to my head again. So those were the highlights for today. For the 1 month I've been here. Some of them might not be so accurate, because obviously for 1 month you don't expect that I would make the most accurate observations, but at least there are certain indications that certain observations or conclusions can be made out of certain observations, and that's what I've simply done over the past 1 month. So guys, I think I'm so happy that you watched this video to the very end, and if you watched to the very end, please make sure you leave your comments below. Anything that you would want me to talk about in the future. I'm going to be in this country for some time during my studies, so if there is anything you would want me to talk about within that period, please let me know. If it's about my studies, if it's about the university I'm in, if it's generally about life and my experiences here, I'll be glad to share. And I think I'm also looking at specializing in a specific content, which with time I'll definitely, once I structure something, it's still work in progress, I'll keep you guys posted so that I can also educate you on certain things, so that we grow together, because that should be the essence of social media anyways. So here I should be educating you with things. It should be that when you log into my channel, you learn a thing or two that can transform your life, the life of those people around you. And once that structure is ready, I'll definitely let you guys know. But for now, please drop your comments there, like this video, and subscribe to Marco Mondi TV. Have a nice day. Bye.